So what do you do with this beautiful acorn squash that you see in all the grocery stores this time of year? Well, I am about to show you. Well, there is actually a lot that you can do with an acorn squash, from delicious soups to purees, but today I'm going to roast it, and then I'm going to stuff it with a delicious pecan and cranberry crumble. So hang with me today in my kitchen as I'll walk you through step by step to show you how to roast an acorn squash and make a delicious dish. So we've got to get started because it's that time. It is time to cook. All right, so the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the acorn squash in half. And you want to make sure that you have a very sharp knife. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the stem. All right, then I'm going to cut just the tip off. Just find that it makes it easier, a little bit easier to cut through. Then I'm going to cut straight down the middle. Watch your fingers. Then I'm just going to take a spoon and I'm going to scrape out the seeds. So my acorn squash I have cut into 2 pieces. I've got a baking tray here lined with aluminum foil. I'm going to spray it with some nonstick spray. Then I'm going to take a little bit of olive oil and I'm going to drizzle some onto my acorn squash. I'm just going to take my hand and kind of go all inside of the squash, making sure it's coated in that oil. And I'm going to sprinkle some salt. And I'm also going to sprinkle a little bit of black pepper. And I'm just going to kind of rub that salt in a little bit. Then I'm going to flip them over, cut side down onto my baking dish, and I'm going to bake them in a 400-degree oven for anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes, just until you can tell that it's nice and tender. Okay, so I'm just taking the acorn squash out of the oven. It is nice and tender. I'm going to set it off to the side, and now I'm going to work on the crumble topping. So I have 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of flour. All right, then I have some dried cranberries, and that's about 1 tablespoon, and some chopped pecans, and that's probably 1 to 2 tablespoons. I have 1 tablespoon of butter. I'm going to melt this real quick in the microwave. All right, just going to stir this all together. And then I'm just going to add that melted butter. All right, then I'm going to turn the acorn squash over. And then I'm going to sprinkle in the crumble. I'm dividing it up between the 2. And then back in the oven for about 10 minutes. All right, so the acorn squash is all done. Now I did put them under the broiler for just a few minutes just to give them some nice color. But they look gorgeous. You guys have got to come check them out. got to go in for the taste test. Oh my goodness. That is fabulous. It reminds me of like a sweet potato casserole. And these would make such a gorgeous side dish for Thanksgiving, Christmas. All right, guys. Well, I hope that you give this acorn squash a try. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. God bless. And as always, I will see you soon with more delicious recipes.